All right, welcome to the first ever episode of our brand new Sac State Athletics podcast. I'm Nathan Ubelhauer. We're going to be talking to all different sorts of coaches, players here at Sac State, volleyball, tennis, basketball, baseball, everything. And we have our first ever guest today. It's our Sac State volleyball coach, Ruben Volta. Ruben, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, first ever, huh? All right. I'll try not to be nervous about that.
Well, he brought in, I'll just say this too. He came in and he's like, I got to bring in the trophies, bring in the volleyball too. So show all that off. So I think now moving forward, every time we have someone come in, we got to have them bring some props, make sure they're ready to go. Let's talk about this season. So back-to-back Big Sky Conference champions, went to the NCAA tournament last season. It says here you guys are 114 and 49 in league play over the last 10 years. Why do you think you've had that success recently, and what are you trying to do moving into this season?
Yeah. Obviously, part of it's recruiting good volleyball players, but we've had a really talented group for several years in a row, and to be honest, I think playing at home for us has been a big advantage. We play really well in the Nest. We've got a good fan base, and the Nest can kind of get rocking, and I think a lot of teams in our conference don't like playing here, don't enjoy playing here. So that certainly helps us with that overall record in conference play.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at this too, a lot of your players don't really transfer out. You pretty much have a good group of players. Why is that? Why do you think they stay here?
Yeah, it's a good question. Obviously, we try and create a culture of a place where players want to be, and it's something. If I look back when I first took over the program from longtime head coach and Hall of Fame coach Debbie Kohlberg, it wasn't lost on me watching how many alumni came back then to watch games, and we would hold an alumni game, and that's sort of a tradition I tried to keep going and make it like a family atmosphere, and I think our players notice that. We just played an alumni game last weekend, and players come back and play, and I don't know, I think just trying to create that family environment. So I try and recruit like good people that they want to play with and be friends with, and it's a pretty good recipe because a lot of our players are lifelong friends when they leave here. So.
Yeah, nice. And I want to talk about the recruiting process a little bit too, but let's talk about this season. Your captains are Ashlyn Archer, Kate Dorn, and Greta Davis. Tell me about them, and tell me about some of the players on this team that are going to be leaders that are going to get you another Big Sky Conference.
Yeah, well, those three players in particular, they're really such like a Sacramento State volleyball mold. They're just those type of players that work really hard, that are humble, really good athletes, really good people. Just great leadership from them, and Arch in the middle for us has been a tremendous captain for a couple of years for us now. And her quiet leadership and how determined she is and how hard she works, I think, is contagious to everybody. And then Greta and Kate the same, just two players that work really hard. And Kate runs our offense. She's our setter and does a tremendous job.
Yeah, we're actually going to have Ashlyn on the next podcast. So
awesome.
We'll ask her some of those questions.
Yeah.
See what she says about you on the other side.
Sounds good.
So I want to talk about the recruiting process a little bit. If I'm a recruit, what are some of the things you're going to tell me? What are you going to sell me on? Why should I go to Sac State and play for you?
Yeah. Some of the things I just said, I talk to all of our recruits about how we try and create an environment here. I try and recruit good people, and if a recruit is sitting here with me, then they've passed certain tests for me, and I've watched them compete and watched them play, and I look at their attitude along with obviously their athleticism and volleyball skill, and like when people come here, I want it to be a fun, positive 4 years that they want to get better and be a good teammate to people, and I try and weed that out in the recruiting process.
Yeah, and I mean, like you talked about, home field or home court advantage is super important for this team. Obviously, we've been playing in the Nest for forever. I want to talk about your career a little bit too. You played here for Sac State's men's club team.
Yep. And
you guys won the national championship back then?
Yep, we did. My last year in '95, I think.
Wow, okay. So tell me a little bit about that. We were talking about it before we started, how every team, like you were saying, Michigan, Michigan State, Maryland, were all playing club back then. And what was that like, and how did that go?
And they still are. So, I think Title IX obviously restricts some male sports from probably being able to be added to departments. So maybe I don't even know the number now. Back when I played, you're looking at 25 to 30 really good Division I NCAA men's volleyball programs. Outside that, pretty much everyone else competed in club. So our national tournament for club volleyball, I think my last year there was 85 teams. I think there's more now that play at the club level. So it's still a pretty big tournament. Now there's different divisions, and so they have a higher division within the club for the top level teams, I guess. So,
Well, and club can be cool too because I feel like it's still a big commitment. Because when I was in school too, I played on the a club team, and it was like you were still practicing, 4 times a week. Plus, you had a game. Like it's still a big commitment,
Yep. Yep.
and I think it's still an important part of athletics.
Oh, for sure. And a national tournament is great because it's all usually in one venue. So it's,
Yeah.
I think over the years it's moved to convention centers. It used to be on campuses. So, but it's gotten so many teams now. They need convention centers. But all the athletes stay for the finals, and so you're playing in front of basically thousands of volleyball players.
Wow.
Which was pretty cool. When we won it in Minnesota, it was in their gym, and both sides were packed. And back then, everyone rooted against the California team. So,
of course.
So it was kind of fun.
Yeah, yeah. So tell me too. Then you played, and then how'd you get into coaching, or why did you get into coaching?
I started coaching at the youth level, and a friend of mine got approached and to start a club, and he asked me to coach with him. I did it that first year, and I didn't really even know how big girls juniors volleyball was at the time. And then the next year we branched into 2 teams. We each coached a team, and then after that I ended up really just jumping into it. I leased a warehouse, and I ran a volleyball club for boys and girls. Ended up having about 20 teams after a couple of years. So
Oh, wow.
that was kind of my start in coaching at the youth level.
And then how did you came back to Sac State? Then how did that all happen?
I'd always kind of been involved. I worked camps here for Debbie's teams back in the day, and then had an opportunity to volunteer here and get on staff, and so I did that for 2 years, and then she ended up hiring me as an assistant in 2001, I think.
Yeah, interesting. And then when you took over as the head coach, what was that experience like for you, and what was that transition to taking over, Division I program?
Yeah, challenging for sure in a lot of ways. I was working for a Hall of Fame, NCAA Hall of Fame coach, and kind of a legend, and it was a rough start. Obviously, I started off pretty young that first year, and I was breaking all kinds of records. So, but not the good kind, like first home loss in Big Sky and those kind of things, because she had dominated so much. But she's an incredible mentor to me and helped me a lot, and someone that I still talk to her today over the years, and just advice and bounce ideas off of her. And but yeah, it was a challenge. It was new to me, and figuring out, getting how I want to coach and be somewhat different than how she was. And
yeah, well, and what's your advice too to some young coaches? Is that kind of let people mentor you? Is that kind of what you would say, or what would you say to a new coach, especially coming into a level like this? Like, what would you tell them? How can they get into that job?
Yeah, I mean, it's so different. I feel super blessed, super lucky to have someone like Debbie that, that's a mentor, that's in the area, and someone that became a friend. I mean, we coached together for 7 or 8 years. And so someone that I had that resource. I don't know if a lot of young coaches get that. So that was extremely helpful for me, for sure.
Yeah, cool. And I mean, I want to talk a little bit more about the team this season. You have 6 freshmen, but you lost a few big-time players, Bridget Smith, Caitlin Volkman. Got her signature right there. Ellie Tisco. They were all conference players last season. What's that? I mean, it's constantly a revolving door, college athletics. I mean, what's that like, and how can you make that transition but keep that same amount of intensity for a team that's winning championships too?
Yeah. It obviously happens with recruiting. We're always trying to recruit talented players every year. It's not like when someone leaves, I don't like to think that our cupboard is bare, like we just talked about, Kate, Ashlyn, and Greta, and the seniors that are behind them, but I've played alongside them, and so they're developing and playing and competing, and we're hoping all the time to recruit talented players that can step in and ready to step up and take that challenge. So depending on the year, it's a bigger challenge when I have a lot of freshmen, because there's a lot to learn, and the game is so much faster than what they're used to playing.
Yeah, how has the game changed over the years? I mean, you said 1995 was when you were playing there. How has it changed since then?
The speed of the game is a massive challenge. Serving is extremely tougher than it used to be. Every team is back there just blasting serves away, so serve receive is a big challenge. And then the speed at which the sets are going to the antennas, to the pins, we call it. The game's just much faster than it used to be, for sure.
Yeah. So you were talking about Debbie there, who was coaching before you. Did she leave? Did she leave and coach somewhere else, or retire? Or what was
she retired? Yeah.
She retired. Okay.
I think she was here for over 30 years. I can't remember the number now, but
well, it seems like here we have a lot of. I know, like Mike Lindenberger has been around for like 30 years. Randy Dedini, to the women's coach, I think 18 years now. What do you think that says too about Sac State, where some of these coaches come in and first off have success, and so they're asked to stay, one, but also like they want to stay. People want to stay here. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I don't know. I can tell you that that family atmosphere we talked about within our program, I certainly felt it in the department when I came here. Back then, there's a lot of coaches. Our gymnastics coach had been here for a long time. If you took the staff members, our athletic training staff with Lois Matthijs, and we're talking about people been here for 30 years. The issue room, the ladies that issue our equipment and gear, and they were here forever. Now her daughter works in the issue room, and the whole department seemed that way when I got here, and so and it's still that way. There's still a lot of people that have been around for a long time. It's a fun place to work. I think it's a really sort of good school to bring kids to. So I think there's and then people stay. A lot of people stay in the area after they're done playing. So that's kind of helped us from our alumni game standpoint. They come back and play. So
yeah, I mean, I went to Sac State and I'm still here. So
yeah.
I don't know what that says. Last question: were you able to meet Shaq yet?
I have not. I have not. So.
Yeah, no. I mean, I feel like there's so many exciting things going on here. We're excited to see what happens with this team. First game is next Friday.
Next Friday, yeah. We've got a scrimmage tomorrow against Boise State, so we'll finally get to kind of, after a couple of weeks of practice here, play another opponent to kind of see where we're at, and then we open up at home next weekend.
Cool. All right. Thank you, Ruben. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Thanks.